Welcome to our Sacral Chakra yoga class. We're going to be covering the second chakra today, which looks a little something like this. And if you would like this worksheet, feel free to let me know and I can email it to you. Before we go any further, I just want to set a disclaimer that I am not of any Indian heritage or descent, so please take everything I say with a grain of salt. All of the research that I'm going to be covering today mostly came off of the internet, as well as this book, Eastern Body, Western Mind, and the Essential Guide to the Chakras, which will be linked in the video below. So, let us chit-chat about the second chakra. So first things first, chakras are energy centers in the body. There are believed to be about 114. We cover the main 7 in this series. So we talked about the root chakra last week. This week we're going to talk about the sacral chakra, which is located in the lower abdomen region. It is associated with the color orange. It is also associated with the element of water. Joy, sensuality, pleasure, fertility, sexuality, adaptability. That word was a little difficult to say. It is directly related to feeling, emotions, relationships, and things of that nature. Some of the ways that you can tell if it is balanced, you'll feel energetic, inspired, receptive, expressive, graceful, compassionate, forgiving, all of those things. If your chakra is under or over, you might have some things such as this. You might feel stuck in your life. You may like to create more flexibility and flow in various aspects of your life. You feel sexually blocked or ashamed of bodily functions. You would like to overcome your preoccupations with shame, jealousy, and lust. Some of the other things just at a glance, such as goals for working with this chakra, can be self-gratification, physical creativity, love, movement, pleasure. Now, I'm going to say the word pleasure quite a bit today in the class, and I want to be very specific that when I say the word pleasure, I don't just mean sexual pleasure. I also mean like just the, like when you eat a piece of chocolate or your favorite food and you're like, oh gosh, that tastes so good. Like that kind of pleasure, right? Like when we see a sunset or a sunrise, or when we see somebody accomplish something that they've been working on, right? That sense of pleasure is what I'm talking about. And I don't mean just like big pleasures, like the big O, for instance, but just like, little things too. And I think it's very important. And actually one of the affirmations is, I am worthy of all the pleasures life has to offer. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. I want to just talk about the chakra at a glance. First off, positive emotions associated with this chakra: sensitive, idealistic, joy, gratitude, just being aware of others. So this chakra specifically, I feel like, really is something that a lot of folks get caught up on. They think of this chakra just in the sense of like sexual pleasure, but in reality, like what we talked about in the root chakra, right? Like you've got to have the stability and the foundation to be able to live your life. And the root chakra offers the stability to be able to move into the second chakra and really embrace that creative flow. So whether that be if you're a dancer, a painter, artistic, or maybe you're not any of those things, right? Like say for instance, you're somebody who's not very creative. You could have some blockages in this chakra that aren't allowing that creative process to flow freely. Because remember, that is the basis about chakra work, is being able to move through blockages so that the energy can flow freely throughout the body. It's not so much about, getting to that enlightened state, because life is so fluctuating that we're going to be constantly doing this type of work, right? And I don't want to make it seem like, what's the point then if I'm always going to be doing this? But honestly, this type of work creates more self-awareness. And if you're more self-aware, you're able to live your life from a place of understanding versus reacting. Because I think a lot of folks, when you're caught up in the trigger mindset and you're up here per se, right? Like you're so like go, 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 I'm doing all this stuff, and you're not really taking that time for self-exploration, self-awareness. It causes you to miss certain things. So whenever you get into an argument with somebody else, instead of taking a step back and being like, they're probably really triggered right now, they're probably dealing with some of their own stuff, it might not be about me. When we're not doing the self-awareness work, we're going to get caught up in that as well. And we're going to take things personal, and we're going to become reactive. Some of the other things that could happen is you could feel disconnected from pleasure and joy. You might be sitting and doing something that used to really make you happy, and it's not making you happy. And that could be part of the blockage process. Another thing is you could lack creativity. You can have issues with control. So whether that be like self-control, things like binge eating and, over materialistic things like going shopping a lot, right? If you have issues with that and you're feeling disconnected from your sacral chakra, it could create more problems with materialistic situations or overindulgence. You might feel shy, you might feel dull, you might have unprocessed anger. And then another thing is it could cause issues with codependency. And you might kind of resort back into some old patterns. Some ways to unblock and rebalance this chakra, right? So the number one way that I think would be like the best is like any type of physical movement that isn't just working out. So whether you like just kind of getting into that dancing move and just moving the body in different ways, and you don't have to have like a set routine or a set of poses, okay? Like, I understand that we're going to have yoga poses associated with each of these chakras, but this one in particular, I want you to get out of your head about stuff and get more into how it feels, right? That's a lot of what this chakra is how does it feel? Can you feel the pleasure from moving your body in different ways? And maybe just, taking time to self-explore. Again, not talking in the sense of like masturbation and stuff like that, which again, fantastic, you should be doing that, but also like just being able to explore the body a little bit more, maybe giving yourself a little like ooh, that kind of vibe. So that's one way, right? Dance, just feeling yourself in that sense. Painting, drawing, anything that gets that creative juices flowing, maybe music, singing, things of that nature. Now, I will say that singing is directly related to the throat chakra. So if you're watching this video after, or maybe before you watch the throat chakra one, and you're like, well, those seem kind of related, it is, right? Creative flow, singing, but again, same idea. Journaling. Spending time in water. So like I mentioned, the sacral chakra is directly related to the water element. So getting next to a body of water, taking a bath, taking a shower. One of the things in my therapy that my therapist told me about was, well, a practice for me per se is a waterfall. And being under the waterfall. Not necessarily under the water, but like sometimes waterfalls have like a cave behind it. So being in that cave and allowing the water to almost act as a boundary for me. And I get to determine what's allowed past or through. So the root chakra talked a lot about stability, foundation, boundary settings. And the sacral chakra to me is the creative and expressiveness of being able to hold that boundary and work from that. Kind of lost track of where I was going with that, but that's okay. Let me bring up this book. So I was telling my morning class that this book specifically, this Eastern Body, Western Mind, it is, okay, one, she's thick. Two, it goes into so much more detail about the chakras, about the chakra work than I ever could. And if this type of work is something you really want to get into now, and I want to be very specific on this, this is not just geared to a particular religion. So regardless if you were Christian, Jewish, Hindu, whatever, you can learn things from this book. I think that that is a very big thing that people sometimes get caught up on. They think like, well, I can't really do a ton of this work because it doesn't relate to my beliefs, but in reality, this is just extra. And some of this stuff they might even touch on in other texts that you've read with whatever spiritual practice you have. So second chakra at a glance. Like I said, the water element, developmental task. I don't know why I said that one. I meant to say basic rights, to feel and have pleasure. So one of the affirmations that we actually talk about is, I am a creative force and I deserve all the pleasures life has to offer. That is like the big affirmation for me with this chakra. I am a creative force and I deserve all the pleasures life has to offer. So some of the deficiency in this chakra, right? Poor social skills, denial of pleasure, excessive boundaries. So like you've got to be able to break some of those boundaries to let people in. Okay. So if you're having trouble with that, do some second chakra work. Another thing is fear of change. So they say that the root chakra is the cup that holds the water of the second chakra. So if you don't have a cup, you can't hold the water is going everywhere, and you got to have the stability to be able to work into the second chakra. And again, fear of change. So if you are so consumed with having your stable foundation, are you really living life? Like if you're stuck in your comfort zone, are you really living life? If you do the same damn thing every single day, are you playing in life? Are you being creative? Are you exploring? Are you inviting this sense of what if? What if I tried this? Anyways, just kind of some thoughts there. Excess of this chakra can show in pleasure addiction, like I mentioned, the materialistic type vibe. And I say that in the sense of like we get that hit of dopamine whenever we buy things, right? And we can mistake that pleasure and kind of over-excess into that. Oversensitive, emotional dependency, obsessive attachment. It's a big one. And then excessively strong emotions, ruled by your emotions. So whether that be mood swings or just going over the top and just really overreacting about stuff. Again, if you're stuck in the triggered mindset, you don't have that self-awareness to be able to check your emotions before you react. So in yoga, they talk about when you receive stuff, receiving it, taking it in, assessing it, and then reflecting it back. Versus being like, take and then automatically react, if that makes sense. You got to be able to kind of soak it in for a moment, digest it, and then bring it back out instead of, and I know a lot of people are thinking, well, our day-to-day lives, we have to be so, we have to be so reactionary, but not really. I mean, especially in conversations with friends and family. Like, if they truly care about you, they're going to give you that extra 5 minutes to, digest the information they just gave you rather than just reacting to it. So the second chakra, the center of sensation and feeling, emotion and pleasure, intimacy and connection, movement and change, is instead turned and twisted, squashed and squandered, further severing the perceptual cognition of the mind from the sensate ground of the body. Without touch, we become literally out of touch, dulled in our senses, behaviors become senseless instead of sensible. In recovering the second chakra, we reclaim our right to feel. We free the flow of dynamic energy that is essential for growth, change, and transformation, and release the armor that separates us. Sexuality and spirituality have long had a conflicted relationship. Many people see them as polarized rivals for consciousness, and then pursue one but deny the other. Such philosophies tell us that to become spiritual, we need to overcome desire, to renounce sexuality. Other practices see sexuality and spirituality as an indivisible whole, each one enhancing the other. To deny the qualities of the second chakra is to deny an essential piece of our wholeness, a piece that is an important part to play in the expansion and awakening of consciousness. Now, like I mentioned before, the element of earth is in chakra 1, provides support and containment for the fluid essence of chakra 2, much like the cup holds water. The universe exists only through a constant dance of consistency and change. Through consistency, consciousness finds meaning. Through change, it finds stimulation and expansion to find consistency within change to embrace the unfolding flow. So there's a lot to kind of break down in the second chakra, but the main things to remember are to embrace the small pleasures of your life, embrace that joy, find that joy, and get rid of any kind of blocking there, right? So moving through these spaces or through these chakras can really help to bring that energy back into your life, and it might take a little bit of faking, okay? So sometimes we might say to ourselves, well, I'm not creative, I'm not an artist. Who is saying that, right? Like, who cares? Just do whatever you got to do. Whether that be pulling out a piece of paper and like drawing a bunch of stuff on there, do that. So, hold on one second. Okay. So, let's get into the poses. I know I talked a lot, and I know I kind of went a little like off the beaten path here, but I want to just be like very honest and open with my students because I think that that's like important. These kinds of classes are a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? In depth for me. So sometimes my mind just starts to kind of follow with a thought, and instead of like stopping it and like reading directly from the book, I just kind of let it flow freely. So I hope that you guys enjoy that genuineness of me. Sometimes some of the things I say can be a little off the wall, but you know what? Take it. Take it with a grain of salt. Take it with however you'd like. So we're going to start in child's pose today. And again, I want to encourage you to embrace the element of water in all of the poses that we're about to do. So we're going to go through some stuff, and it's not going to be a super long flow, but it is going to be a little fast. So if you need to take a little bit more of a break, you are more than welcome to do so. So we are going to start in child's pose, forehead to the floor. Hips back, knees out wide. Just take a nice few deep breaths here. Big breath in. And exhale. I'm also going to link the Spotify playlist in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description. So you're welcome to have that playing as we practice. So take a big breath in. I am a creative force. I am a creative force. We'll come up to hands and knees. Keep the knees out wide. Go ahead and tuck your toes under. We'll do a few cat-cows. So inhale, soften the heart, look forward or up. Exhale, round. Shift the hips back as you tuck the chin. Inhale. Exhale. Remember, we're embracing that element of water. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe go from one side to the other as you breathe in. Exhale. Beautiful. We're going to come to hands and knees. Go ahead and extend your left leg behind you. Exhale. Pull the knee in. Step it to the outside of your left hand. Left arm will reach up towards the ceiling. Twisted lizard lunge. Bring the left hand back down. Go ahead and bring that left knee back to meet the right. We'll take the right leg back behind us. Breath in, exhale, pull the knee in, step it to the outside of the right hand, and reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. I am a creative force, deserving of all the pleasures life has to offer. Right hand comes back down, right knee will come back in to meet the left. We'll take a breath in, inhale for cow, exhale, come into downward dog. Knees come back to the floor. We'll come up to the knees, step the right foot forward. And again, you might not see me anymore in the video. You'll probably just see my legs. But just listen to the sound of my voice. So we're in a low lunge now. 90-90 legs, right foot underneath the right knee, left knee underneath the left hip. Ribs contained. Head over the hips. Reach the arms forward and up alongside the ears. Take another breath here. Exhale. Bring the hands to the right thigh. Push down into the legs. Lift the left knee up off the floor. Keep that left heel off the ground. Reach the arms forward and up alongside the ears. High lunge. Crescent lunge. Breath in. Breath out. Move my mic a little bit away from me. Breath in. Exhale. Turn the palms away from you. Bend the elbows and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale. Reach the arms back up. Exhale. We're going to do 2 more like that. Feel free to release the knee to the ground if that feels better. Inhale, reach up. Exhale. 1 more like this. Inhale. Exhale. Now, if you are up in the high lunge, we're going to bring the hands to the thigh. Lean forward. And take the hands to the floor. Plant the hands, step the right foot back to the left. Downward dog. Hips up towards the ceiling. Knees soft, staying high on the toes. We'll release the knees back down to the floor. Come up onto the hands, or onto the knees, left foot will come forward. Reach the arms forward and up alongside the ears, breath in. Exhale, remain here. Feeling this lift, remember root to rise. So feet are firmly planted on the ground as we play with the arms here. You're going to bring both hands onto the left thigh. Push down into the right foot, lift the right knee up off the ground. And then reach the arms back, forward, and up. High lunge. Remember, stay in that low lunge if that feels right for you. Turn the palms away. Bend the elbows. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Inhale. Exhale. Stay here. Inhale. Reach up. Exhale. Bend the elbows. Palms face away. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. 1 more like this. Inhale. Exhale. Bring the hands down to the floor. Step both feet back. Both feet. Step your left foot back to meet the right. Beautiful. Knees will come to the floor. Go ahead and flip your fingers to face the edges of your mat. Kind of go side to side here. Beautiful. Turn the fingertips back to the front of the mat. We're going to lift the knees, come into downward dog. Walk the feet to the front of the mat or step them forward. Bend your knees, come up to standing. Nice. Now I want you to twist open to either side of your mat. Toes will face that side. We're going to come into a wide-legged forward fold. Glide the hands down the legs, grabbing either outsides of the ankles or hands on the floor. Go ahead and bend right to left, keeping the hips going back, right? So I'm going to turn this way for a moment just to show you guys. So my hips are going back. I'm not forward on my toes, right? Hips are back. Weight's more in the heels than anything else. And turn back this way. Come back to a regular forward fold. Wide-legged. Bring the heels in, turn the toes out, and bend the knees out for a goddess. Bring the hands to the knees. Hold here. We'll straighten the legs, come up. Inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend the elbows, bend the knees, come into goddess. Now we're going to bring our hands right here at our center. Right hand in the left hand, thumbs touching. This is our mudra for our sacral chakra. Bring these hands up towards the head, and almost like you're dumping a pail of water over your head. Bring it overhead, then bring it back down in front of the body. Bring it up. Overhead, almost like you're dumping a pail of water. Back down. 2 more like that. Keep the knees bent in this goddess position. Bring the hands down. Beautiful. Bring your hands to the floor. Left hand's going to come to the ground. We're going to take our left leg. We're going to kick it through and come back onto our on our butts. Right foot's going to come on the inside of the left thigh. Janya Sirsasana. Left toes towards your face. Reach your arms forward and up. And then if you'd like to, you can reach forward and down towards your toes. Remain here. Then we'll come up. Right foot will come to the floor. Now notice my right knee is pointing up towards the sky. Left hand's going to come behind us. We're going to come into what's called wild thing. So you're going to push down to your right foot, your left heel, lift the hips.
Bring your right arm back behind you. Now another thing you can do is you can come into reverse tabletop with one arm. Then you can also try kicking the leg out. We'll come back down. We'll switch sides. Right leg, left foot on the inside of the thigh. Flex the toes towards your face, sit up nice and tall. And then when you're ready, you can start to fold over, reaching towards those toes. Some other poses you can do for the sacral chakra include frog pose, pigeon pose, and also butterfly. We'll come back up. Left foot will find the ground. Right hand will reach behind us, and then we'll lift up into wild thing on this side. Come on down. Ooh. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together, knees out wide. Folding over the legs. Now, I like to move with my breath in poses. So when I exhale, I fold forward a little bit more. Sometimes I like to stay stagnant. Other times I like to add a little bit of movement in here. Feels good for me, might not feel good for you, and that's okay. So some of the journal prompts, because like I said, journaling is another way you can work through a lot of these chakras, and it kind of gives you a little bit more self-exploration, is what simple pleasures do you enjoy most in life? We'll hold here for another breath or so. And then we'll bring the knees together. Go ahead and extend the legs out for a moment. Shake them out. And then we're going to come to a nice seat. Now, you are more than welcome, since you are at home, to lay down. Otherwise, I'm going to keep you seated for these next few moments of class. Like I mentioned in my previous video, you're always welcome to sit up against the wall, right? Like you don't have to just sit out in the middle of your living room. You can sit against the wall, a chair, couch, whichever. So, that's what I'm going to do. Move my little box to the side. So, what simple pleasures do you enjoy most in life? Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a moment here. Just focusing on your breath. A few other prompts that I want to just sprinkle in your brain. What is your favorite sense and why? Smelling, taste, hear, touch, or see. What can you do in your daily life to add more opportunities for play? So as you sit here for these next few moments, think about how you play in your day-to-day life. Whether that be at yoga, drawing, painting, maybe taking dance breaks throughout the day. One of my students said that on her walk, she was hot and she saw this sprinkler in somebody's yard, so she just went and jumped in it. And I just thought that was so it was so wonderful. Like, how often does people do that? Probably not that often anymore. Allow your breath to be even. Softening the areas of the face. I am a creative force, and I deserve all the pleasures life has to offer. Wherever you are, whether you're laying down or seated, bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Bow your chin to your chest. Give yourself a thank you for making this time for yourself, for your practice. The divine light in me honors, bows, and recognizes the divine light in you. Thank you. I know that these classes aren't like my normal classes where we do a ton of movement, but I hope that you have enjoyed them. Again, if you would like this little image, I'm more than happy to email it to you. Just let me know in the message or in the comments. I don't know. Happy chakra work. Looking forward to doing the next video on the solar plexus chakra. I'm also going to link the test in the in the description. So if you haven't taken the test yet, or if you want to retake it, you can do that. Have a great day.